談で私は宇宙人でこの星を救うためにやってきましたとか言うんだけど、本気で思うのは、私は未来の世界から来たんだとか思う。なんでだろうね。毎日が不思議なことの連続で知りたいことだらけ。時々私のことを変わってるとか言う人がいるけど、変わってんのはみんな同じだと思う。みんながみんなハッピーエイリアンってはずじゃない。
Amy is an old friend of mine, a performance artist, a fine painter, a Japanese traditional calligrapher, and a cartoonist for gay and lesbian magazines. Amy's street performance art short is often about connections among people. These are some of Amy and her audience's friendly artwork collaborations. Ever since I met Amy in art school in Tokyo a long time ago, I found her to be unique, and have been thinking about what makes her different from others. So, I want to talk about the story of Amy and the aliens. Amy told me that she was a child with many questions such as, why are some fruits artificially colored or bleached? She did not understand why people tolerate additional strange tastes and smells for this artificial coloring. The world was a puzzle to little Amy, so she kept asking,
なぜ婦人警官はスカートを履いているのか。なぜランドセルは男の子が黒で女の子が赤とはっきり決まっているのか。赤い方が好きな男の子はどうするのだろう。女の子と結婚できるのか。
Young Amy was about to believe that her opinion was simply wrong because grown-ups were always supposed to be right. However, as she noticed that no one really answered her questions, she decided not to grow up the way they were. Therefore, it was no longer important to live by the dichotomy of right and wrong. The good thing for Amy was that her mother was very understanding, an artist as well, and always on Amy's side. Her mother used to say to her nicely that, "You're special, Amy, a very special child of mine." By the way, this is something that she never expected. Shortly after she realized that she was pregnant, her mother advised Amy to leave for the US. Later in New York, Amy understood that she would have been confused more if she'd stayed in Tokyo. Changing places helps. The destination should be far from noise. In 1994 in Tokyo, Japan, Amy launched her first street performance art show that is called Order-Made Family. The tenet of the show was communication between participants and Amy herself. So, with Order-Made Family, either by yourself or with people that you liked, you could choose Amy's nearly 100 illustrated peekaboo boards based on whatever family structure you liked. Then, you'll be ready to take a family portrait. Some said that the show raises fundamental questions about modern society such as, what is the definition of family? Does family just mean being able to live together? Is it about relationships, a financial unit, a spiritual bond? And then, most importantly, what is your image of the ideal family? There should be many ways to define what love is. But what is true to Amy? Amy had hardly ever been serious about boys or comfortable with the idea that she could belong to a man. But that does not mean she hated him, the father of her baby. However, there was simply no way she would think about marrying him. Therefore, the biggest question at that moment was whether she would tell him about her baby or not. Different people said different things about this for their own reasons, such as parental authority, genetics, jealousy, and morals. Would it be selfish of Amy to break the news while she didn't want to marry him? Amy optimistically expected that the news would scare him away, and Amy and baby would be happy ever after along. But unfortunately, it was not that easy. Life is more complicated than she thought. While her social and personal life was a mess, her body was in natural order. Amy found herself asleep often and seeking quality food. Now Amy was a part of the tide and the spinning earth. She needed to try hard not to lose her focus on her work, but couldn't care less about who wins the argument. I cannot help wondering what marriage is as I think of Amy. There are many kinds of different relationships, including heterosexual marriage relations, and babies are born regardless of the marital status of their parents. You might say that our social norms have been mostly debated only from the POV of a particular group of people if you think like Amy. Some of us could be frustrated by the system under the strong influence of preconceived notions about family. Then how's my Amy doing? She too complains about being short of money and about her slow recovery after the childbirth, or about how hard it is to find a good doctor for her baby in New York. However, while dealing with her daily problems, she still tries to form her message towards society into an artwork in an audience-friendly format. That attitude absolutely staggers me. Also, one day Emily happily said to me that she was going to give her baby 2 first names, one for each gender. Maybe 3 for an in-between gender, she said. Amy wanted to provide options so that the baby could choose its own gender in the future. What Amy says often makes me believe that she really came from another time. She always goes so far ahead of me, and I like to think of her in this way. You're lost in a dark forest, totally alone, and thinking about a tiny light someone left on for you. It's bright, even if you cannot see. Well, this is the way that I feel about Amy.